Alrighty, welcome everybody to the Ortelius Journal meeting, March 21st. Let me go ahead and find the doc and there it is. Share my screen. Just update this real quick. Let me drop this in the chat for you guys and we'll get going. Okay, so just a couple updates. The GitHub sponsorship, I've been able to send out the payments so far. I got a weird message on that front. It looks like they're placing a hold on the payment for 60 days. Utkarsh, did you get a message like that as well?
I haven't got any message, but in my Stripe account, right? The money that is there, it is not, what do you call it?
Didn't transfer
I
yet?
cannot take out that money. Yeah, that is not transferable, correct.
Okay. Yeah, I had a message that said it was going to take 60 days for us to be verified for the first payment. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it on that front. But I did figure out the process, and it was relatively easy to do once we got that sorted out on where to click and things like that. So if anybody talks to Joseph, let him know that he needs to set up his Stripe account and stuff. So and if anybody gets their money transferred earlier, please let me know, just so we can let everybody else know. Next on the kind of list is Tracy. You got to fix your mic. So huh? Okay, I just muted you. So the next thing that we have on the list is, I don't know if anybody's heard, but Emporous is going to join the project. Tracy, can you tell them more about that?
Do you have me on mute?
No, you're good.
So yes, they have accepted coming into the project. There'll be a sub-project under Ortelius. So figuring out what that looks like in Git will be a different problem. Probably any of their projects will have a Emporous dash and then the name of the repo, because they have about 100 repos, I think, something like that.
Yeah,
they have a lot of repos.
Yeah.
But they're super excited to be joining. We'll do hopefully we'll be able to get everything set up and do some fun outreach at CDCon so that we can give them some love and some attention. I think we talked about this last time. Where we're at in the process right now is just Red Hat has to have a corporate contributors agreement, and I'm trying to find out if Red Hat already has one for the CD Foundation. But we're going to go ahead and move forward with individual contributors, and then work on the getting the Red Hat one later. Well, that's all I have on that. We're just now doing the busy work to get it all made real. I'll be working on a press release as soon as we'll probably release the information in May. We won't do it in April. We'll wait until CDCon.
Okay.
They do have some, I think we do have to find for their branding, the name and whatnot. I have to find out, there's another agreement that Red Hat will have to process, so that might take some time. And I don't know where that contract is. I just know that it's out there. I've got to reach out to Fatih again and find out where it is.
Okay, excellent. So we need to. So we have to follow up on some further paperwork.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. So one of the things as part of the Git repo move is I'm going to have to rename a few of our repositories. We have one just called like website. I think another one called docs. I just need to rename those to be a little more explicit. So I'm going to do that. Also, we're going to create a .github repo. I don't know if anybody's familiar with what the .github repo does. It's kind of like the default. So you could put the license file in the .github repo, and then any new repositories will inherit the license from there. So it's like a one-stop shopping to do all your common code type of stuff. So along with that, we're going to need to do a security markdown and also an owner's file to handle the permissions inside of GitHub. So when I was talking to Andy the other day, he said that they use the owner's file and not like the GitHub teams. And it's basically configuration as code versus it being hidden away inside of GitHub. So we'll be moving over to that. A security markdown. I think it's called owners. So I'll be working on that. And we'll have to pick a date on that front of when we're actually going to do the cutover. But first, I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup on our side and get kind of like the groundwork in place. And then we'll go ahead and work with the Emporous team to get their repos transferred over. I did bring up with them the Discord versus Slack, and because they're a corporation, they like to use Slack, and I told them that they should consider moving over to Discord. We've had a lot more the projects I've been on I've had more success with new people joining that actually use Discord over the Slack type of world. So we'll see how that comes about. But it would be nice to get on the same platform under Discord. Other things that we'll need to do. Also, I mentioned to them about moving some of their meetings earlier in the day. Right now, they're like noon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, my time, which puts it like impossible time for you, Ukarsh, pretty late, and Arvin. I told them that they may want to consider trying to hunt down a date where things are earlier, just so we can get more contributors to the project. Let me think what's next. Any questions on the Emporous stuff? Okay. Then the next thing is the XRPL project. Like I said, we did the payouts, and I also created about 20 new issues out there. So we'll have to start picking up issues, assigning them to yourselves. And I still have to go in and add the bounties to them. I just got like a brain dump of what we need to do next. And I have to circle back around and figure out, how many hours we can estimate for some of those issues. I'm trying to think what else is next. Tracy, do you have anything on the outreach?
Yeah, we have quite a bit to work on coming up here. We have our Visionary Summit coming up on May 19th. I'm going to go ahead and get started. If you submitted a blog, I would highly encourage you to do a 10-minute lightning talk on it. It doesn't have to be technical. It just has to be fun and informative. If you have a particular topic you would like to talk about, if you've never done a session, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up for either 10-minute or 20-minute presentations, and you can sign up for either one. I have learned recently that the 10-minute and 15-minute lightning talks are better. And it's because nothing, focuses the mind like having a limited amount of time. So you tend to take out the fluff, to get to the core of it and be done. And I think they're more interesting when we're watching them. And they do well in terms of people watching on YouTube, because it's like a 10 or 15-minute talk. You can say, I can listen to that. I don't have to wait for 30 minutes or an hour. So I'm going to stick with the lightning talk format. I will be pulling all of that information together and sending out notices to say, hey, sign up for a lightning talk, or you can do a 20-minute session. And I think what we'll do is we will have do it the same way. We start with our beer and donuts. We have somebody who's a kind of a primary speaker, and then follow that up with the lightning talks. And Tony, your article on mentorship was heartful and spot on. It would be great if you talked about what it meant to be a mentor. It's a topic that it seems to be getting a little more interest in the open source world. So it would be, we would love for you to consider doing a lightning talk on being a mentor, or how to be a mentee and take advantage of mentors.
Okay, so when again is this, you'd be looking for the talk?
It'll be aired on May 19th, but we pre-record all of them. And then we just set it up with some broadcasting software to pull it all together. And you can record it you can record that 10 minutes on your own anytime you want. And then you send it to, you upload it to Google Drive, and then I download it and get it and do any editing and put in the intro and the closing and get it ready for broadcasting. Okay. So I do the post-production piece.
Yeah, I'm also going to grab some time on your calendar to talk about that SBOM blog. So I'll look at your calendar and find us some time.
You got it. Anytime. I'm happy to chat with you about that SBOM blog. I think that's another interesting topic. I think I am on the OpenSSF Days selection committee for talks. We had about 60 talks submitted for 8 spots, which is a tough job because you have to decline a lot of really good talks. And I would say out of the 60 talks submitted, we probably had 30% of them were actually related to SBOMs. They discussed SBOMs in some way. So it is a pretty popular topic right now, and I think it'd be a good one.
Okay, like I said, I'll find some time in your calendar and
Okay.
mine.
Okay. You have my calendar link, right?
I do.
Okay. Super.
It only seems to support 15-minute sessions.
Let me give you another
no.
link. I have a link that's got a longer one. I'll shoot it over to you.
Looks like you can do 30 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll find some time. We'll see where we go from there.
Okay. So we need to really get our heads into it. I'm going to get that blog started. I'll get the info out there today, announcing the date and announcing a call for lightning talks, basically, and we'll get that started. And I want everybody to know that Sasha's a great DJ. I've been listening to his track on Spotify and I absolutely love it. Like love it. Sasha, it's amazing. So if you need work, if you need music to code to or write to, Sasha has you covered. Find him on Spotify. Find the Vested Leopard on Spotify.
Yes.
And I don't think you can, but it would be great, Sasha, if you could do a couple of our breaks. But I don't know how that legally how that works. I don't think we could broadcast it, but you're already broadcasting it through Spotify.
Yeah, but it's the whole attribution piece.
Yeah. So anyway,
can't you play just play a playlist through the? I mean, you can just connect just. Can't you connect just? Oh, really? So you can't play off Spotify like now, for example. If we put a playlist on from Spotify, would that be illegal?
It gets weird with Twitch TV and rebroadcasting stuff that you're not paying without paying royalties for it.
Oh yeah, okay. Geez, yeah, it gets complicated.
Unless the music's under the Creative Commons license.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So if you could find some music under the Creative Commons license, we could do it.
Yeah, I have to go and have a look at that. It's good. It's an interesting one.
Yeah, so something to think about. And I don't know if Sergio is going to be able to help with it, but if there's anybody who wants to learn this stuff and step up to the plate and be our Twitch J, please let me know because it is a skill all of its on its own. Steve and I pulled it off last time. I'm sure we'll be able to do it again this time. But if you're interested in learning how to do this, work with this broadcasting software, these kinds of projects are a really good way to do that because it kind of forces you to pull it all together and actually produce something. And it's kind of interesting the way the stuff fits together. We do have elections running. Remember, we have an election for the CD Foundation has the best committer for the CDF, and then we have our MVP for Ortelius. So if you haven't voted, please do get your votes in. I believe that voting closes shortly. I'm not sure. I know I saw it on my calendar in the next 2 weeks. So if you haven't voted, be sure you get your vote in for that. In terms of any of the conferences that we're attending in the next, I'd say 2 months, all the CFPs have closed for it. So now we're just looking at conferences really for September, the fall. I don't think Steve and I are going to do any others than just the May ones. It's expensive and it can be kind of distracting and kind of takes you off your what you got to focus on. And we have so much coding to do and so much work to do. I think that just the CDCon Open Source Summit and Open SSF Days and JFrog, and it's all in the same week, will be enough for us. I am doing a keynote at Open Source Summit. I am doing a featured talk at JFrog. I was accepted to do a talk at CDCon, and Steve has been waitlisted, and we're trying to get him into this the Open SSF Days to do a lightning talk on adding security to your DevOps pipeline. We do have now our meetup. I scheduled a meetup for Simon. Do you remember when I scheduled that meetup for? It's April 12th, I think, maybe something like that. So just to get, so Arvind had to set up a Ortelius meetup to start getting get meetup page. We have to have some kind of an event. So what I did was I scheduled the Steve's pipeline talk for the CDF online meetup, and I also scheduled it for Ortelius. So it's the same one, just being advertised through both the Ortelius meetup and through the CDF Foundation. So hopefully we will get some folks accepting that meetup. So if you are so inclined, please go out there and add yourself as a member to the Ortelius meetup. It looks weird having a meetup when there's only Arvind and I out there, and I know some of you have already done that, so thank you. On the same note, don't forget to go to Artifact Hub and star the project. So Artifact Hub is where we have the image download, and it would be helpful to have more stars on that image download. And if you check it out on a regular basis and you see we have a bad score, make sure Steve knows. And we really still need to think about how we can automate that through Ortelius. So because Ortelius knows it too, it just needs to notify us.
Yeah, there's an open ticket on that. So it's just a matter of just getting to it to fix it.
And in terms of outreach, those are the items I'm working on. So just as a summary, we have a good lineup for May for OpenSSF days, CDCon, and Open Source Summit, and JFrog. We have our Visionary Summit coming up on the 19th, which is a Friday. I will start working on pulling that blog together and get it announced so we can start getting people lined up to do talks. If you've done a blog, I would encourage you to use that blog as the format for your lightning talk, because then it works really good when I do. See, the reason why I like to do these Visionary Summits is because of content. We need content to keep the social networking fresh, and by doing the spring or the winter spring blogathon, followed up by May and December Visionaries, I have a lot of good content through the year. And what I'll do is I'll take a single blog and I'll push it out for 6 months, and then I'll take the videos that I get from the Visionary Summit and I'll push those out for 6 months. So pretty much every 6 months I've got fresh content. Now we can always write blogs more often, but it tends to be if we do it as a group and we get, it creates more of a ball of energy. So that's why I do these, so we can have content to share. And if you haven't seen,
yes,
again, I'm going to, yes.
Tracy, sorry to interrupt you, but because the topic is actually on the blog. So I need help, yours, because I'm writing a blog post for the CD Foundation website. So I need a title. I have written down some of the structure. Now I need what is actually we are doing in 2023, what are plans? Like if we can add in this blog.
Okay.
The next visionary meeting and BlogAthon and the stuff that is actually we're planning. So I need your help to.
You want me to just send you an email with that, with the list of activities we're doing?
Yes, basically I need links or anything you actually planned, or if the links are ready, I need to add this into updated because I need to submit this to Roxanne this week.
Okay, I'll get that to you today.
Yes, I will actually remind you on the email as well.
Okay, yeah, no problem. I'll be happy to get that out to you today. Now, the other thing I want to, poor Sasha, I'm really picking on him today. So something fun to do is go look at one of our first Visionary Summits where Sasha presented. And then go look at Sasha's presentation that he did at the, what is it? It's not Stack State, it's Local Stack meetup. You will be, Oh my goodness. We always knew that Sasha had it in him to be a good presenter. He just needed to work on it. And his meetup, his presentation was really, was great, actually. I'm sorry that Sasha has to live so far away, because it would be great if he was submitting talks and being out there presenting at places like CDCon. But the reason why I bring this up is because doing these presentations at the Visionary Summit is a safe place to be. And it gets you really, it gets your head into presenting, and it gets you more comfortable with presenting. And just like we use open source to learn to code, using an open source project to learn to present is an amazing way to build your skills. It's sort of like Toastmasters for nerds. My suggestion, my suggestion now is, if you haven't done a presentation for the Visionary Summit, go for it. I would love to have half of us doing those presentations be new, and have a mentor to help you through it. So, I'm gonna encourage that when I send the email out about the Visionary Summit, to get some new folks to do these presentations. And that is about all I have for today.
Look, I don't mind doing the Twitch DJ stuff. I just need to get over my CKA first, and then I can be more focused.
Yep, no problem.
I'm helping out, but more with do more stuff for Ortelius, just because they wrote it into my contract. So if I don't pass at before the end of the month,
it's
I have
actually
a problem.
It took me a full, I don't know, 2 or 3 days to figure out how to use all the software. But now that we know, I think that we could get your environment set up a lot faster, because there was stuff that we didn't know we had to download in order to make things work together, and figure out where the feeds were for the sound, getting the feeds to the right places, all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, if you want to do that, we can, when you have time, we can sit down, we're talking closer into, we can do this in May. We don't have to do this anytime soon, but we could do it closer to like the second week of May, right before the Visionary Summit, get you set up. Because once you have it set up, it's literally just scheduling. It's just dropping in the game, or changing the scene as it's called. So you have different scenes that you push forward.
Sasha, when are you going to try to get your CKA done by?
I have to have it done. Well, I did try and write already, and I missed it by like 6% because I got hung up on a question, and I shouldn't have, and so I couldn't answer 5 questions. So if I'd answered 5 of those 5 questions I didn't answer, I would have passed first time, but I didn't, so I missed it by 5. So I'm gonna write it this week, probably on Friday again. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
yeah, good luck on that. Good luck
Thanks.
on that. Yeah, and that's one of the things with taking those tests. Go through and answer all the questions that you know for sure.
Yeah, I got
go
hung up
back
on
and
the
guess on the
HCD
rest.
one.
And then come back on the ones that you're not quite sure about. That way you get the, and what will happen is the ones that you know for sure, you usually give hints to the ones you're not quite sure about.
Exactly. The irritating thing is that it's so time-based, right?
Yeah.
So like I've only got 6 minutes a question. If you get 17 questions, you've only got 6 minutes. You can't take longer. You have to move on. Otherwise you're not gonna make it.
Can you skip a question and come back to them?
Yeah, you can. So my next, it's all about strategy, really. The
Yeah.
whole exam is just strategy. It's just strategy. And I know it's an exam, but I don't know how relevant it is to the real world, but still it's an exam. An exam has its own way of testing you. So I think it is good in that sense. And you can have a whole debate about it. But
yeah,
it's like, it's irritating because you know the work, but it's just that time thing. You've really got to practice. You've really got to practice that you've only got 6 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's it. And you have to move on. Otherwise you're not going to. Yeah, not going to make it. Yeah.
Well, good luck.
Thanks.
It's a hard test.
Yeah, it is hard. It is hard. They ask you to do a lot in a little short time. Right. It's crazy. I had to upgrade a whole cluster.
Yeah.
At least I know how to do it now.
Well, now you know what the feel for the test format is and what they're going to kind of ask you. So you have a better idea of how to proceed.
Exactly. And it's irritating things like on their documentation. So they've got this massive red banner now about them changing some registry, right? It takes up half your real estate, right? And another irritating thing is I like to talk the questions out to myself, like whisper them to myself, just so you can gain understanding. And then the proctor keeps jumping in with his massive chat window that blocks half your screen and asks you to stop whispering.
Oh, because I think you're talking to somebody.
Yeah, they think I'm talking to somebody. It's like, guy, please stop irritating me. I'm trying to write an exam. I've only got 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's so annoying. Like,
Well, do they have any like in-person test centers near you?
That's a good question. I don't know, because I'm normally used to going to test centers now and just do it there, right? Everything's set up.
Yeah, because I know sometimes that they'll outsource the test centers to certain companies. So I would take a look to see if there's a test center and do it in person instead of over the web. Because I know folks that were trying to do a similar thing for passing their EMT, basically paramedic stuff. And they said that doing it through remotely is, like you said, is a pain, because you want to go write things down, you want to go talk things through, and the proxy person starts yelling at you.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a massive chat bar that comes up, because I've only got a 16-inch Mac screen, because my camera is built into my Mac. That's the only webcam I have, so I can only use my 16-inch screen. If you've got a 15-inch screen or less, you're gonna struggle. Well, 15 inches is the minimum, they say on the site. But if you've got a smaller one than that, sheepers.
Yeah,
I feel sorry for you. Don't whisper. I had to move half my office out. You're not allowed to have any paper, no electronic, nothing. I had to walk around the room with my camera and like show them everything, show them that I'm, I had to remove the dustbin, the printer paper, the whole thing. I basically moved out. Half my lounge is filled with office stuff because I have to rewrite.
And then you got to pass it.
Yeah, you got to pass it. Because if you don't, you only get 2 chances.
Yes,
it's $400, right? Yeah.
One of the feedback that I'm getting from a lot of street, one of the person say, like, I have scheduled the CK exam, and in 45 minutes, it took 45 minutes for me to test things up before I start jumping into the CK exam. So now you're only left at 70 minutes or 60 minutes. So I think it's easier. You can have only one laptop and one webcam. Otherwise, you have to fight with the proctor, and you do nothing. And she also got very worried. But I think I haven't done it before. But now I have conducted a KCD Pakistan. So they give me 10 voucher for this CK exam. So let me know when you are actually planning, so we can have this crack together.
I've already written it once, tried, but I didn't make it. And I wrote a whole spiel I wrote everything that I experienced in the exam in the Discord channel, under the certification channel. You can read it all there.
This sounds like a really good lightning talk. How do you get past the CK?
Yeah, you want me to do a lightning talk? I would love to do a lightning talk on it. Yeah, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, do a lightning talk on it. Absolutely.
You'll laugh. You're gonna laugh. And then I'm not allowed to, because I had the cat meowing at the door, and I'm not allowed to go and not allowed to leave my desk. And like, so the cat's meowing away in the background. I bet you the proctor could hear it, because they obviously logged into your computer. They can see everything you do, right? And you hear everything you say, and it's so funny. Yeah.
So
weird experience.
One last question. Are we, or should we do a beer and donuts for the Emporous folks, just to meet everybody?
I think we should, but not until after. That's the thing is, the 19th is our Visionary Summit. We probably won't officially announce it until the week of the 10th. So it doesn't give us a whole lot of time. So we'll have a beer and donuts, and I think we should make the beer and donuts will be, we'll just title it as Welcoming Emporous and recognition badges.
Okay, that works. I wasn't sure if we needed to do a one-off.
I just don't think we have time between those two events.
We can invite someone from Emporous for a talk in Beer and Donuts in our Ortelius meetup.
Yeah,
Like
I
we
was
can
actually
collaborate.
Arvin, I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking what we would do is, normally we do beer and donuts and then we have somebody do a 20-minute presentation. I think I'd like to do beer and donuts and then have Andy do a 20-minute presentation on why a universal object registry like or Emporous is important. Not technical, but just the reasons why it's better than a standard OCI registry or a container registry.
Yeah.
So that's my
Or we
thought.
can do a panel, or we can do a panel discussion between Steve and someone from Emporous.
I think a panel discussion would be a really, panel discussions are really always very interesting. So if somebody wants to pick I think that letting Andy right now be the star of the show would be the best. And then if we want to do a panel discussion as a follow-up to Andy on any topic, I think a panel discussion is a great idea. We would just have to come up with one that there many, like 3 or 4 of you have some real interest in to do it, because you all have to really be kind of like-minded or have a passion for that particular topic. But if there's a panel discussion that you guys want to do, I'm all about seeing that get done. I think it's a great idea. And we can always curate speakers from outside to do that panel, and we can make it a 20-minute panel. So then we'd have 20 minutes for Andy, 20 minutes for a panel discussion, and then we'd maybe do 3 or 4 lightning talks and we're good. So yeah, Arvin, if you want to think of a good panel discussion, think about it, and maybe I'll think about it too, and I'll send some your way.
I didn't have anything much to talk about.
Well, if you think about it, we have time. So think about what you might do a panel around. We could just do a panel around the importance of catalogs and the different kinds of catalogs.
Yeah, or maybe some.
It requires some study.
Or we can find any topic that is common between Emporous and Ortelius.
Yeah. All right,
Also,
we have time to think about it though.
I have shared an article in the chat in which it's contain all the CFPs opens, and it has lot, maybe around 30 CFP open right now. So please take a look in it.
Okay. And I see that other one in the chat too.
Which one is it, Arvin? Is it the we maker devs or we make devs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's in the bottom area.
Okay. Let me put that in the meeting notes. Cool. Anything else from anybody?
All right, everybody, thank you so much, and look for a blog from me or an email about the Visionary Summit coming up, and think about if you wrote a blog. And if you've promised a blog and you haven't got it in, we still have time. You have about 3 weeks.
Oh, Sasha, do you have a few minutes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
Public holiday in South Africa.
All right. I'm going to end this Zoom and I'll post you a new Zoom link because this one's being recorded.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, cool.
All right. Thank you all.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.